Hey, everybody, you're watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is Andrew Benjamin. Boy, it's been quite a weekend. All I can just say is it's been exhausting, tiring, all that good and bad stuff. Right now, I apologize. My room is brutally hot, so I'm sweating. Sweating. I was about to say something bad. Bullets off right now. Um, First things off first, which is pay bills. Podcast is sponsored by Shroom Bar. You can go to eatshroombar.com and use code WAR at checkout for 25% off your first order. These healthy protein bars are great for your pre-workout, post-workout, and have Cordyceps, lion's mane, turkey tail, and are a good snack or meal to have if you are trying to stay fit or get in shape or just have simple workout goals. Again, go to eatshroombar.com, use code WAR at checkout for 25% off your first order. So first things first, I gotta apologize to everybody who was expecting a recording of the panel. Entirely my fault. Oh, so Jill, in case if anybody doesn't know, I had a panel at Anime NYC this past weekend covering the history of JMMA, how it started, till to now, basically an unofficial RIZIN panel, I like to call it. I've been trying to get this panel approved for the last 2 years, and for some reason, this year they decided to approve it. As well, I did not get notice that the panel was being approved until last Friday. So I only had about, oh boy, a week to prepare for this panel. I was supposed to have a cameraman there. That didn't wind up happening. I had tried to set the camera to record at a certain time, but unfortunately, the camera only recorded in bursts. So I have a weird chopped up show with the most amount of footage I have being about 27 seconds. As well, we were supposed to have J Wolf on, but due to technical difficulties, he was able to hear. He couldn't hear us, but we could hear him. And I'm pretty sure if I had more time to figure it out instead of 15 minutes, I could have figured it all out. But unfortunately, yeah, I have to apologize to everybody who's expecting footage from the panel. It was a great panel. I did not expect so many people to be turned up. My eye test would maybe say about three. Oh no, not 300. About maybe to 80 to 100 people. I'm guessing. Expecting that many people. I had a presentation. All the credit goes to King CeeLo for that. He helped work this yeah, thank you, Focus Fights. It's a lot to learn. First panel I ever did, and it's a lot that I'm hoping that mistakes I will not make in the future. Furuhata, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm seeing I'm having internet issues right now. So that was another issue as well. Anime, we were not provided. I was not provided Wi-Fi. Apparently, some of the other panelists were. So I was basically using my hotspot. So I had to have my phone as close as possible to play videos and all that. So it was. What is going on with it? I should have done more research. I should have tried to figure out what is going on and with a panel and try to figure out how to prepare better and all that. But hopefully for the future, more better. By the way, if someone in the chat can tell me if I keep disconnecting, please let me know. Because it looks like I keep on disconnecting. Due to looks like my signal is not doing so well. So if I get disconnected, I apologize. Anyway, So in lieu of just uploading the entire panel itself, we're gonna do the panel here, and all the credit goes again to Kinsilo, who helped me. Who I shouldn't say I helped me. He basically did about 90% of it, and I maybe did about less than 10% of it. So yeah. Okay. Thank you, Focus Fights. I appreciate it. So let's if anybody who from the panel is new, and you're just tuning in for the first time, if you have footage or anything, please upload it so I can tag it, tweet it out, whatever, photos, videos. So if you're new, if you are a new subscriber from the panel, if you got any footage or anything, first of all, thank you for getting that footage, and yeah, post it anywhere so I can post it on Twitter X so that people can see it. That people know I'm not BSing about the amount of people that were there. Okay, so let's start with I first opened up the panel because it was people were coming in, all that stuff. I was just like, okay. Code Made Day also sent a playlist of music. So we played the Pirate theme, we played the RIZIN theme, we played some Bob Sapp time. So yeah, that's how I got everybody kind of in the mood. Yeah, one of the things that I wanted to get across to this panel is just breaking try to get people who are not into JMMA. Hopefully they're got into JMMA, or if they are a fan, they are more of a fan now and have come away with some sort of historical. They learned a lot about it of stuff they may not have known. So let us start with yes, I call it the Wild East of Japanese mixed martial arts, and it is really a Wild East. When you read the history, as we'll talk about, one of the things I wanted to ask is if everybody was familiar with who was familiar with which fighter, and as you can see, chose some very familiar faces: Brock Lesnar, Connor, Ronda. Chose a modern, I would say, well-known fighter, Jiri, and then Kai Asakura, who, even if you are a regular UFC fan, you may not entirely have known who he was. The RIZIN fans or JMMA fans in the audience knew who he was. But out of all the reception, out of, I know who that is, obviously Brock and Connor, Ronda didn't get got some responses, but she's been I said this during the panel, that Ronda is getting erased from history. Unfortunately, she changed women's MMA and brought so many women into the fold, and it's really a shame that you may not like what she says and her politics and all that stuff, but her historical significance is maybe second or third most important in MMA history, certainly number one in MMA in women's MMA history. So yeah, one of the things that we got across with this panel was that there's also a lot of connection between MMA and anime. Fighters like MVP, Izzy Adesanya, Tenshin Nasukawa. Well, I'll just talk specifically about the foreign fighters. Iberian Otaku says Megumi Fuji is still the true face of women's MMA. I'm not going to, I won't disagree with that, but I'll also say that I think that Ronda's importance, it was more important than Megumi Fuji. Not so much historically, but in terms of just a resume, obviously Megumi Fuji's resume is very hard to touch. I think maybe the only comparable person would be Cyborg. By the way, as well, since this is a kind of like, I'm gonna kind of do like the panel. One of the things I told the audience was, hey, if you got a question, come in, say some ask questions or whatever you want to do, because I don't want this to be a TED talk. Code Mayday wants, please go into presentation mode on the slideshow. Okay. Let me see, presentation mode. Okay, that's what you mean. I think that's what you meant, right? Let me know if that's what you meant. Code Mayday. I'm still new to StreamYard. I'm still learning this thing every day. But yeah, and I brought up MVP because one of the things about MVP was that he had the famous fight with Evangelista Santos where he cracked his skull and he threw the Pokeball after. That went viral, and I asked if the audience knew about that, and a lot of them knew about that. A lot of non-MMA fans know about that. They've seen that go on Instagram, become viral on Instagram and TikTok and all that. Anime to MMA pipeline. So there is no Michael Jordan or Bo Jackson that was creating fans since MMA wasn't available on TV in Japan. So a lot of them got into anime was a big influence. It's actually even for across the pond. You know, guys grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, Hajime no Ippo, Baki, Street Fighter as well. Street Fighter is basically an anime. Oh, you want me to go back on the screen? Okay. To say he'll be the most rising thing to sign Roger. Well, if he gets a criminal record, it's a felony record, he won't be going to RIZIN unless he do a show in the United States. Even then, it might be hard. But yes, that would be a very RIZIN thing to do. Hey, you got the Rampage Jackson connection there. Yeah, and then I'm going to yeah. So a lot of and I told the audience that if you talk to a lot of MMA fighters, they are fans of anime, especially American ones, like Izzy Adesanya. Let's see, Jose Shorter Torres. Trying to think off the top of my head right now. But a lot of them are fans of anime, and actually, and this was the moment where I played a video of Jose Torres sending a message to Anime NYC audience. So let me just get that up right now for you guys. Let's see. I have to stop sharing that. I'll have to go into a different screen. So just give me a second. This was the message Jose Torres sent to Anime NYC.
What is up, everyone at Anime NYC? Jose Shorty Torres here, multiple-time MMA world champ. And I just want to say I believe I'm a world champion because I love anime. And being inspired by Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, all the different shows, not just be a great fighter inside the cage, but try my best to be a phenomenal person outside the cage as well. So I appreciate all of the support. Y'all have fun over there. And I don't know what show to watch next. Take care of yourselves, guys.
Yeah. Thank you to Shorty Torres for when I reached out to him, I was like, hey, can you send would you be willing to send like a quick message to the Anime NYC crowd? And he said absolutely. So I know that there's some people who don't like him, but listen, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and I like that he did that for us. When we get back to the original, I think this is the presentation screen. Okay, so we got some more questions. I was more Street Fighter Tekken than anime. Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'll say this: Street Fighter 2 anime is still one of the best animes, I think. So that kind of gives me the best of both worlds. Tekken. See, I was also more of when it came to the video game thing. I was always more of a Mortal Kombat guy because I always liked it because it was more violent and you didn't have to be good at it. You could kind of just win by just button mashing, especially the first game. Chris Cushman, do you think they'll bring Shorty back this year? I really hope so. I hope that he's the guy who faces Yuki Ito. I'm tired of the Hiroya privilege. Hiroya Hiroya's right now training in the mountains with Billy Bigelow. So my guess would probably be that they're probably going to do that because it's also a rematch. And in fairness, Ito Hiroya was a great match because it opened up that Super Rising card after that awful Bellator card, and it was a close match. But the problem is that Hiroya is going to get 10 million chances to advance in Rising, and I'm just kind of like tired of it because it wasn't the same thing. If UFC was pushing somebody who I'm tired of seeing, or it's that Hiroya needs to get some legitimate wins with some legitimate opponents that don't have bad records or aren't strawweights going up to flyweight, and I'll take him more seriously as a fighter. I hope they bring Shorty. I'm sorry. I want to go back to your question. I hope they bring Shorty back, and I hope he's the one that's facing Ito as the in the alternate fights. But it probably won't be. But I think they'll definitely bring Shorty back to fight. I don't know about this year, but hopefully next year. So yeah, JMMA, Anime to MMA pipeline. Yeah, so I told the audience, hey, I might use some of this terminology, all this stuff. When I said superior rule set, that got a laugh from the crowd. So Jay Wolf, I wish you were there to see that reaction. There was kind of like a dispersed chuckle from that. And also I made sure to mention to everybody listening, it's called RIZIN, not RIZIN. And that it annoys me to no end when I hear fighters and other people call it RIZIN. It's so easy to look up. Just look up the thing on YouTube. Ask Shingo or Hafid to just say, ask how to pronounce it. By the way, also Kobe Day. So I'm actually not. So I wore the podcast T-shirt there, which is now unfortunately starting to deteriorate. So I'm trying to go into presentation mode. So I'm wearing the PFL shirt. So I'm not entirely wearing the same stuff that I was during that presentation. So okay. So one of the things we talked about, I got through the audience was why is JMMA stand out? Pride rule set, which allows ground and knees, soccer kicks, and stomps. Explaining to them that it's not allowed anymore under unified rules. Production values are heavily from pro wrestling. The use of a ring as well. Freak show fights also. I asked the crowd if you prefer a ring or a cage. There are a lot of people who raised their hands when I said raise your hand for a cage, and maybe a little bit less when I asked if you prefer a ring. So yes. What was that, Hamza? By the way, Pride had fire contracts. Most American media lies. What do you mean? Fedor's Pride contract ended. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yes, that's true as well. Because I think at the time, because UFC was still this outlaw promotion, they didn't really have contracts. They may have, it was just like they're booking fighters show to show, maybe like 1 or 2 fights a year. So until they became, until the Fertitas, I think, took it over, I think that's when they maybe started implementing the 3-fight contract thing. Yeah, and I also asked the audience, who here loves pro wrestling? And that was the biggest pop of the night. So yeah, people, there's a lot. I also wanted to get across the audience that pro wrestling and MMA are very much connected, despite what UFC has tried to claim, despite what I would say post Ultimate Fighter fans of UFC claim. There is a connection between MMA and pro wrestling. There was that time when a lot of fans left pro wrestling to watch MMA because of Ultimate Fighter and Brock going there because they didn't like pro wrestling anymore. And whenever you would make the connection, they would get angry. I think it's a lot less now. I think it's not so much. I think I think people kind of don't mind the comparison anymore. But there was a time where if you told an MMA fan that pro wrestling and MMA are connected, they would get very angry. UFC fan, I should say. Anyway, that goes into this. MMA history was rewritten by the victors. So, fortunately, UFC won the war. So, as I said, the history of the sport cannot be discussed without pro wrestling. MMA did not start in 1993 with the founding of the UFC. And I made sure to tell the audience that WWE, TKO now, which owns both, tried to do the same thing with pro wrestling, where they said, hey, pro wrestling was always in bingo halls, small arenas, casinos, not casino, but all that. And then WWF came around and put it in the big leagues, which is absolutely 100% bullshit. Gracies are a rich family of poor sport cheating carnies. The Gracies are the greatest pro wrestling family of all time. I made sure to note that as well. In 2001, when Dana White and Fatias came in, they did not make MMA successful for the first time. So yeah, I went into the Kimura Hiro Gracie match that made Brazil hate Japan. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people hate Japan for forever. Also, the audience that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was never actually created in Brazil, but created in Japan, stolen by Brazil by the Gracies. Talked about Inoki Ali, and I asked the audience if anybody's actually seen this match, and a bunch of people said yeah, and I had to tell the audience, like, it's literally the most boring. It is horrid, this match. If you watch the full, I think it was, how long was it? Was it like 30 minutes, I think? But it's weird, and I made the point that I'm surprised that because of that match, it didn't kill MMA. Like, I'm surprised we are still talking about this sport, that we've seen this sport grow to this day, and that this one horrible fight did not kill it all. Oh my God, somebody. Okay, let's see. Focus fights. Yeah, pro wrestling MMA definitely joined the hip. Hamza says Ring and Shuto started before the UFC body. Yep. We'll go into that. Pancreas as well. Jarvis. Yep. Yep, and the Gracies learned catch racing from Maeda. Yeah, jiu-jitsu is from catch wrestling. Who was the first person who started that? Was that Gotch? Frank Gotch. Why did I say Carl Gotch? Frank Gotch. Yeah, it's all connected, but the Gracies have tried to claim ownership that they started so much stuff. Particularly when UFC 1 came around, and which was basically just to showcase jiu-jitsu. And so, kind of, again, it's a thing where the victors rewrote the history book, and now there's this belief that they're not. Well, now I think it's less now. People maybe 10 or 15 years ago, but thanks to people like Josh Barnett and others, they've brought about this a catch wrestling renaissance. So hopefully people will learn the true history. And then I talked about Shuto, which is credited as the first MMA promotion. It's founded by Satoru Sayama. I made sure to let everybody know, if you want to see Satoru Sayama beat the shit out of some students, just look up Satoru Sayama training students, and it is horrible footage of him beating his students with like a cane every time they like fuck up a move or something. And yeah, this is where we get to Nobuhiko Takata. And I made sure they asked the audience if they've ever seen Nobuhiko Takata either wrestle or fight. And I asked the audience when a few of them said that that they've seen him fight. I asked, who is a worse fighter, him or CM Punk? And we all came to the conclusion that CM Punk is, because at least Nobuhiko Takata probably came from judo and also learning catch wrestling and all that stuff. So he had some legitimate stuff behind him, unlike CM Punk, who didn't start training until after he left WWE. Nobuhiko Takata was a part of the UWF, and that eventually went to UWFI, and it was mix of pro wrestling, shoot style, and also, just to let you know, UWFI is my favorite wrestling promotion of all time. It is great stuff. I love it. If you ever want to just watch great pro wrestling that looks good and legitimate, UWFI, I cannot emphasize this enough. I also like that King Suo chose the Takada Koji Kitao match, which was actually supposed to be a pro wrestling match. Kitao didn't know, and then Takada did the shoot kick on him, and shoot knocked him out. What's a triangle called in catch wrestling? Oh, I have no idea. Hamza. Your favorite American wrestling? Okay, American wrestling promotion, maybe we could say ECW, but I would say my overall favorite Japanese promotion would be UWFI and promotion overall. Yeah, and we went to Yoji Anjo. So Yoji Anjo, who's the mentor of Takada, also helped found UWFI. And I also made the point to this audience that Japanese pro wrestlers always had this inferiority complex. So they're like, okay, they've always treated wrestling as if it's real in Japan. But these guys legitimately thought that they were also real fighters. So, in to kind of do that, Anjo went all the way to California with press and crew, did a dojo challenge, which is all these things in the 80s where people from rival dojos would do like Cobra Kai stuff, go in there, challenge the sensei, whatever. And then, challenged Rickson, and basically Rickson beat the shit out of him. And I also told the audience that I hope one day before I die, I see that footage, because that is maybe there's only 2 pieces of footage that seem to that people, or 3 that people are clamoring to someday find. It's the guy who got eaten by the bears in that documentary, Grizzly Man, that lady, the newscaster who ended herself on live television, and these are like 3 of the most sought after like videotapes, that video historical things that people want to see. So yeah, Anjo got dominated, and it did not look good for him or pro wrestling. So then this is where pride well, actually, when you go into the it's called a figure 4. Oh, okay. Jarvis, Kyoshi Tamura. Oh yes, Tamura was good, man. Tamura was he was so good at. And also he was a pretty good MMA fighter as well. One of the few successful ones. So yeah, we went to Pride being founded. Yoji Anjo lost his face both literally and figuratively. So now Takada had to protect the business by challenging Rickson. And so the fight, Pride 1, which also has a worked MMA fight on the card, Nathan Jones versus Koji Katao, tracks 48,000 in attendance. Takada, unfortunately, gets his ass kicked. And so, but it tells the audience that it shows that there may be a way to draw between guys of different disciplines and also foreigners versus Japanese as well. And so Ride realizes that Takada can't depend on him. And I also talked about, like, again, how terrible of an MMA fighter he was. I talked a little bit about the Mark Coleman fight, which was an obviously worked MMA match, because in 1,000 years, I think Mark Coleman now could beat Takada at Takada's age when they first fought. And yeah, I told people, if you want to see one of the worst worked MMA matches of all time, please watch that. And then one of the things that they're doing is that they're putting a lot of pro wrestlers on their roster, which is, while they lack an MMA experience, the entertainment factor comes with them, so they understand that. So that's draws, and I know that it's not entirely 100% true. I know that it's not the fighting ability that draws in Japan. It's kind of like the entertainment at this time, probably more so than ever before. And yeah, first shows aren't that good, but they are tapping into something that will eventually become big. And the guy who they find to be their homegrown Japanese star, a little guy named Kazushi Sakuraba. So Sakuraba is, again, one of the things that he promoted himself as was a pro wrestler, because he realized, if people think I'm a pro wrestler, they think I'm going to have no chance. And I talked about the famous fight that they have with Royce Gracie, that went 90 minutes. That was under Gracie rules. Now, one thing that I learned about while researching this was that the unlimited rounds thing was, so obviously you can't, the entire arena, you can't have if that fight went for that, there's no way that the fight would be allowed to go forever. What I read from Dave Meltzer was that they had it booked for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, just in case. It went 90 minutes, so it didn't matter, but there was no way that they were going, if it had gone a certain amount of time, they were going to rule it a draw and no contest anyway. And then also beats Sakuraba beats Hoist. Sorry, not Hoist. Henzo Gracie by breaking his arm in one of the grossest things I've ever seen. Submissions of all time. So I wanted to give context to people about what the MMA world is going on outside Japan right now. So UFC is struggling. They are branded as human cockfighting by now the former Arizona Senator John McCain. They're running in dingy casinos, small arenas. They can only tour in limited places. It's illegal in Nevada. So that what eventually becomes their big their haven does not allow them. So it's they're doing. So here's like MMA is doing. So yeah, sorry, UFC is doing good on video and on pay-per-view. It's kind of like a Girls Gone Wild, Jerry Springer thing. People are attracted by how visceral it is, how violent it is, and it's doing good. But since they can't go anywhere, they basically cannot. Other than if they can't run a show someplace, they then can't have it on pay-per-view. They can't have video. Therefore, they're not making a lot of money. So, yeah, they have to. One thing that they do to get their name out there is by sending some of their fighters to, when they purchased in 2001, is to send them to Pride. And keep in mind that Pride did not need UFC at the time. It's UFC that needs Pride. That's always been a mantra of Sakaki Bar, is working with other promotions, no matter how big or how small. So what was that? Hamza, for me, the Gracies should be respected. They won a rigged tournament. Oh, they absolutely did. What's this you say? John Predetti actually saved the UFC. The talent he signed was out of this world with no money in scouting, and they were in a worse position in 2004, and Tough saved them. Yeah. Tough was basically, yeah. In fairness, you gotta give Spike TV a little bit of credit. Was it Spike at the time, or was it TNN still? I think it was Spike. For taking a risk on this sports property at the time. Yeah. So during this time, Pride is doing great, and they have great TV. They're getting millions of people to watch them. They're having some of the best events of all time, best fights of all time. They're getting talent like Fedor, Krokop, Gomi, Silva, Ruha, Henderson, Silva, and they're fine. So what they're doing is, okay, so they top load with foreigner fighters and then have the Japanese guys on the bottom, so that because here's still, other than Gomi and a few of the other guys, a lot of the Japanese fighters are still not that good, other than Sakuraba as well. So they top load a lot, the top of foreigners, so that, and the bottom Japanese, so that they'll stay for the Japanese and then stay for the main event, co-main event, whatever with the foreigners. Also, it's a time of freak shows as well, and they're getting these big, gassed up foreigners as well that are able to do commercials in Japan, or pachinko machines like Bob Sapp. Hamza says, look at the UFC by end of 2000. Although they had no money, they had all the talent, all weight classes filled. And Joe Silva by end of 2014, 65-60% of them sucked except a few. Hey, this wasn't this the era of Cabbage Correa as a UFC heavyweight champion? I think that was when Cabbage was a UFC heavyweight champion, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Pride FC fall. So I asked the question to the audience. So why does every Japanese company, when they fail, what always seems to be a common factor? Yakuza involvement. So the Yakuza involvement made them lose their Fuji TV deal. So now that's their main source of revenue. Now they have no TV. They can only tour, but TV's still king in Japan. Was king now and still is king now. They try to do a US expansion. Doesn't do well. They receive large, but they papered a lot of tickets from what I was able to research. And as well, dealing with commissions, all that stuff. One of their shows is entirely ruined because Nick Diaz, apparently, someone in the audience pointed at the panel points out that apparently Nick Diaz was so high that he popped so high that apparently he would have had to smoke a joint right before walking out. That's how high he was. That Diaz Gomi main event is now officially no contest. And then since they're now easy pickings to be purchased by the UFC, so UFC purchases Pride with the false promise to continue running the operations. And I told the audience that in the history of every business, when a company buys another company, says, "Oh no, we'll let you run on your own," it never happens. Happened with UFC and Strikeforce. Happened with UFC and WEC. Happened with Bellator, or PFL and Bellator. Happened when WWE buys out TNA. It's going to be the exact same thing. They're running AAA now. I guarantee in a few years AAA will be dissolved. Oh yes, that was the year that Frank Mir got that accident. That was the year where he got that accident totally changed. Like, he was never the same fighter after that motorcycle accident. There is now no big JMMA promotion. And then I went off some of the fights in where it says on the best fights in Pride history. We then watched Don Fry Takayama, which is the one that they always show on like every highlight reel. Not gonna show it now because I don't want to get copyright strict or whatever, but you've either seen it or if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. And then we talked about Dream. So Dream was, because of the people running it, and just, I don't know. Well, because also what happened was that I asked for Hata-san why Dream failed. They simply weren't drawing up. They weren't drawing up enough people to the shows, and Masato's retirement. So yeah, and here's like Dream had more visibility than Pride internationally. They were on the Fight Channel or HDNet, whatever it was. They were getting great stars like Aoki, Kawajiri, Masato, like I mentioned, Akiyama. They also had a weird half Pride, half unified rules. So yeah, but there are some great matches, especially like A. Alvarez's matches that he has with not Tokoro, the Aoki match, like we have here Kawajiri. There's a bunch of great matches, and they find a bunch of great talent, but the guy who's running is a money mark, and it fails after only 24 shows. Their peak is the Super Hulk tournament. I forgot to mention during the panel that when they made the belt, they spelt the Hulk wrong, which is absolutely hilarious. So now with Dream failing, it's now a total desert of major JMMA. And then at some point, and some guy in the crowd was like, "Are you going to talk about Pancreas?" And I was like, "Oh yes, we're going to talk about a little about Pancreas." And yeah, so Shuto, Deep, and Pancreas are running at this time. They are mid-tier promotions that are able to get people, and a lot of them do. Quite many of them do go to UFC, but they're not. They don't have the visibility or the TV. They're running, show to show, Kurikan Hall, whatever, all the smaller arenas. But yeah, there's nothing like Pride or Dream that has a way to get themselves out to the world, to the Japanese audience. And until 2015, when RIZIN is announced, Sakakibara's 7-year non-compete clause had ended, and he announces a new promotion called RIZIN, and it's has already a deal with Fuji TV. So the other thing also is that I mentioned that Sakakibara got a $10 million non-compete. He sits on that money for 7 years, and then as soon as it's over, decides, I'm gonna start an MMA promotion. I have to admire that, because if I had gotten that money, I would just be, I don't know, I'd be on vacation for the rest of my life. So, but that is crazy to think that this guy just sat on that money and used it to restart an MMA promotion. So yeah, RIZIN started out as like this kind of like this World Cup of MMA promotion, and like this promotion that is kind of gonna be like this neutral ground where fighters from all over can fight here. It's less about being kind of its own thing than it's kind of being about bringing everything together. If you remember, they had the flags, the banners for all the promotions that they were working with, Pancreas, Shuto, all that stuff. It isn't until the pandemic when they become kind of like, I won't even say the pandemic, maybe a little bit before that, where they become just their own promotion. But they do they have the two shows for 2015. And they got people like Jiri, Nemkov, Reina. They bring back people like Sap, Sakuraba, King Mo, Akabono. It's a success. People latch onto it, and while they're not they're booking only 5 shows a year, with the shows kind of leading up to New Year's Eve. And they're doing Grand Prix. They're also on. I don't think Pride ever had a kickboxing bout, but now they're delving into kickboxing, and it's a place where Japanese fighters can finally have can have many eyes on them in person on television to showcase their fighting. And people like Tenshin, Kyoji, Yusuke Yachi become big stars thanks to the Fuji TV deal that RIZIN has. Okay, let me go back and see about a bunch of stuff. Hamza, I hate Barcuma. Give him credit. HD Fight Network also put MMA on the map this country. That's true. Also, they had Ring of Honor before it died. They were it was ROH on HD Nets, which was a great show. And also more educated fans back then. A lot of dummies now. I told people in the panel that they should see the Vice documentary Dark Side of the Cage. I think I mistakenly called it Dark Side of the Ring during the panel, but what do they lie about Sakakibara? If you don't mind me asking. Oh yes, you're right. Focus Vice. They did have kickboxing bouts. Now that I remember. And yeah, they did the co-promotion. So yeah, Fry got destroyed by a banner. Yeah, that's true. I've wiped that out of my mind. Unfortunately, this thing called COVID happens. So during this time, I explained to the audience that RIZIN could not have foreigner fighters come fly over. And then right now, after some time, they make the Tenshin Takeru kickboxing match, which is supposed to be on Fuji TV. And at that time, they lose their Fuji TV deal due to false allegations of Yakuza fraternization. But during this time, they're able to focus on Japanese stars like Mikuru, Kai, Ren. Though I do say this kind of a caveat that Mikuru and Kai didn't so much become famous because of RIZIN. They got more fame from it, but they became more well-known because of their YouTube stuff. It was kind of like YouTube first, then RIZIN. So that should be noted. And so, yeah, RIZIN modern day, they've managed to create a great streaming revenue through pay-per-view. That's through a Beam Live, Unext, and RIZIN Live, and then also RIZIN TV, which they have here. And I showed off some of the attendance with some of their shows. And yeah, it needs to be known that they're not going to, I should say, if they ever reach the heights that Pride did, I'll be very surprised, but through how successful it is, it's managed to become the second biggest combat sports promotion in the world. And then as a result of that, more people are training in martial arts now. Fighters are opening up gyms as well. There are more Japanese fighters than ever before on the UFC roster. And maybe one day that the country will have its first UFC champion. I made sure to note that it'll probably not be Kai Sakura, which got a groan from the audience. U.S. athletic commissions are slowly moving towards ground knees. I am not a fan of that. I believe that if they do wind up allowing superior rule set here in the United States, I think that takes away something from RIZIN and other promotions that do it. We can now say, oh, you want to see a guy get kicked in the face while he's on the ground? One of the few promotions that allows that is RIZIN. If that is what you're attracted to MMA, you're not going to watch RIZIN if UFC has it. So I want UFC to not have things that RIZIN has, because what makes RIZIN unique, you're going to come to watch. You would watch it for that. There's none of this. You're not going to watch UFC and see someone get sock kicked in the head and be like, oh, I want to see other promotions do that. Then watch RIZIN. That's not how it works. Oh yeah, and then other promotions were starting for like Breaking Down, Virtual Gan Ryujima, and Roman. And K1 Heroes was just also announced as well. Let me go back to the chat, see what everybody's saying. Oh yes, Daniel. Yes, you're right. The Zap Agumon was under shootboxing rules. I forgot about that. Oh, that he killed. Did they? I don't think they implied it. They may have implied it, but I don't think they actually said that he did. Why didn't they do fights in the studio during this pandemic? Well, they kind of did. They were remember that's where Landmark came about, where they're doing those shows in like Landmark places, and they were like, it was like, what was it? Oh, I think it was only for like fan club members or something like that. I think that RIZIN are bigger than they were in the previous years. I will say yes to that. I think they've lost some stuff though. First of all, like, as you can see from these best of fights, like we would get fights like Jiri versus Bruno Capoloza back then, or Jiri versus Nemkov. That's going to be, I feel like that's a lot less focused on now, is foreigner versus foreigner fighters. Now they are a Japanese-centric promotion that mostly deals with Japanese versus foreigner fighters, or Japanese people from Japan, living in Japan versus foreigner fighters. There was some crazy, listen, I don't think they're going to bring in Gabby Garcia ever again. Also, I think now, yeah, they may be more successful, but I think I love the wildness that RIZIN used to have, just the unpredictability, like Gabby Garcia just coming in and just, I was there for the show where Gabby Garcia got into the fight with what was her name? Jazzy Gabbert. And yeah. It's kind of good that they kind of are their own, that they have their own identity of promotion, but I kind of do miss the old RIZIN, just the Wild West, Wild East RIZIN. Yes, I know, absolutely. What we need organizations with different rule sets. Exactly. All promotions are now adopting the cage USC rules. Listen, I don't know about Deep. Deep's rules are all over the place. There's one promotion that's like, we'll have different rules for different fights. So they may be the only one that doesn't do that. You also say the talent was better before. I think the foreign talent maybe overall was better than before. I think the Japanese talent now is better. The foreign talent is maybe about the same, but I think Japanese talent now is much, much, much more better in RIZIN than it was before. Overall. MMA says, I'm so excited for RIZIN 51. Which fights are you looking forward to the most? MMA for that show. Hamza says, I want Pancreas type organization, punches to the body, and more grappling heavy. Well, don't forget, wasn't Pancreas the one that had, when they first started, they had the rules that you couldn't punch on the ground? I forgot how. That was them, right? You couldn't punch on the ground, and you were only on the ground for like 20 seconds. RIZIN will die. Did I do anything else at the anime convention? Yes, I did. I attended some other panels. Let me see what else. I didn't get any food there because the food is like double the price. just like all cons are. I got some swag. Oh, might as well show this. I got this. Oh, I don't know if I can. If you can see this, this is a One Punch Man foam hands. I got this. Did a lot of walking around. Took some pictures of the cosplayers. That's basically all. So Anime NYC is 4 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Nothing happens on Thursday, so I didn't go Thursday. Then the panel was at 5:15 p.m. on Friday. So I basically kind of didn't do anything. I was preparing for Friday because at the convention because I was so nervous and I was so anxious. I was just like, I was just found like an empty chair and just like, okay, let me think about what I'm gonna say, this is what I'm gonna do, all this stuff. And I was a nervous wreck, man. And then when the people came in, hopefully when I get J-Wolf in, because I had J-Wolf was there until about 5 minutes after I started the panel, because I realized we weren't gonna be able to have him in. I wanted to come in so that he can verify that there was a lot of people at the panel. And also I got a bunch of subscriptions as subscribers to this YouTube channel as well. So will hopefully be some proof that people came out. I didn't think that there would be a lot of people coming out. I was so surprised that there'd be that many people coming out. But listen, during the panel, some people left, but that happens with every panel. So, but hopefully they all enjoyed it. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, MMA. You say that you're looking for to Umeno Ashizawa, and the title matches and tournament results. Yes. Who do you think should face Yuki Ito in the reserve bout? RIZIN Will Die says, well, how many of the audience were in cosplay? Of those cosplayers, which cosplayers and anime manga did you see in the audience? There was a guy who was dressed up as a jaguar or a cheetah. I forgot what it was. And he had a replica WBC boxing belt. I remember that. I am so out of the anime loop. I'm pretty sure there had to be somebody who was dressed as Tanjiro. God, I am so out of the loop with like modern anime. So I have no there was a lot of cosplayers there in the audience. I just don't know which shows. She's so positive. He thinks Rise will be bigger than UFC in 2 years' time. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So yeah, we then going back to the panel. Yeah, I showed up the Jiri Prochaska Bruno Capoza fight. And then I recommended people take a look at these resources. So for anybody that also wants to know as well, who are tuning in, Before Fall is a great book that Lee Daly wrote. I interviewed him long time ago on the podcast. He sent me a copy of the book. He disappeared. I have no idea where he went. I hope he's okay. But his social media is gone. No more Twitter, no more Facebook. He's disappeared off the face of the earth. So I just hope he's good. He's safe, or he's okay somewhere. But the book that he wrote is great because he interviews like Minoru Suzuki and a bunch of other people that a lot of people that were involved in early Pancreas and early Pride, and it's a really great. That book is a great resource. And I still have my copy somewhere. Let me see if do I have it here. Before I am trying to look at all my. He sent me a copy and I did a review of it. Unless I know I have it somewhere. Oops. Okay. Here's the book. Oh no, I can't get it out now. Oh great. Everything's falling. Okay. But here's the book. Let's see if I can show it. Hold on, I'm gonna. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a good book. Oh no, because it's white on gray. So there it is. So it's a good book. I recommend it. It's available on Amazon.com. Let's see. Oh, I have to go back. Oh, Rise will die. Were there any genuine Rise fans there? Yes, there were. There were. I think there was overall more UFC MMA fans there, but because it was MMA, that's why they came to panel. But there were a number of RIZIN fans there when I did hey, who here is a fan of RIZIN? I think I would guesstimate 20 people, 25 people maybe raise their hands. MMA says, after his performance against Hiromasa, I think Shoei Tora should fight Yuki Ito. Yes, absolutely, 100%. MMA, are you a Hiroya fan? Do you think that Hiroya should get 100 million chances? Because I don't think he should. But I want to hear your thoughts on Hiroya. Catch Chronicles. So the Catch Chronicles podcast is this new podcast I just discovered that was posted in the RIZIN FF Discord. And it's the two guys who do it are great. They have covered like Satoru Sayama, the founding of Shudo, Cash Wrestling, the Fall of Pride. They only have about 10 episodes, and I'm going to try to get through all. I think I have about 4 or 5 more to go through, but it's a great resource. I don't know when the next shows be, but I did reach out to them to see if we could do a collab sometime. And it's available on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. Of course, obviously, RIZIN's YouTube channel. And Napoleon Bonaparte. When I asked if the audience who knows who Napoleon Bonaparte was, man, that was maybe the 3rd or 4th biggest pop of the night. I love Napoleon Bonaparte. And I could not emphasize, if you want to get some popcorn and see the most interesting documentary on Pride, it's like 3 just watch the compilation that he did of the 3 parts. It's so good. The Rise and Fall of Pride, and he just came out with one on Moneyberg. If you're into jiu-jitsu, you'll know that. And the last resource I recommended was this book I'm reading called Kagetogi Boom by Keith Fargo. He wrote for Black Belt Magazine. He lives in Japan. He was there writing about Pride and Japanese combat sports way before a lot of people were. And he has taken all the articles that he's written in the past, and he's put them into a compilation. I bought the Kindle version for $2.99 on Amazon. He's working on part 2, which will be out later this year. And we are going to be doing an interview with him sometime when I finish the book. And also he does commentary for Rise. He just did the commentary for the recent Rise show, English commentary. So please buy that book. It's only $2.99, less than coffee out there. So oh my God, so many comments. Let me try to get that. Let me see. Hamza says Rise at promote the reverse better team national market on the socials. Well, that's what we got. Hafid there. Hafid is running it pretty darn well. Listen, RIZIN was international outreach was terrible not that long ago. It is so much better now. So credit to them. What was it? Oh, okay. You're responding to it's like you all got into a talk about KSW. Yeah, they should get Ariel and Luke. Problem is though, you have to pay to be on those. So unless you're UFC related, it came out that Ariel was getting some sort of kickback for the GFL thing. Him just going all in, covering this promotion was no, that's not how it works. And then, the guy who said that, who basically kind of exposed that, was the Turk Al-Sheikh, I think his name is. So listen, Ariel's got the biggest audience, deservedly so. It'll be great if RIZIN could get on there, but since they're not big like UFC, they have to pay. They have to do that. For Hata, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the compliment. And by the way, again, King CeeLo is the one who did who created most of this. I put in the resources thing last minute, and then the next page last minute, but everything else was almost all King CeeLo. So don't give me so much credit. Give King CeeLo the credit. Let's see. MMA says, I'm a big Yuki fan. I don't love the way that they're pushing it. Reminds me of Adesanya's infinite title shots. Yes. One of the things, because at one point, Izzy was kind of their, sorry, I have a hang now, cash cow for UFC. And then they were just, and then, yeah, obviously he's not that anymore. But the problem is that until Hiroya stops selling tickets, then RIZIN's not going to give him any more chances. So, yeah, it's kind of, it sucks that Hiroya gets that there's, you know how, what was it? Tony Ferguson said Dana White privilege. There's Hiroya privilege. Or maybe it's Mikuru privilege. And yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte is great, man. What was this? Hamza said, not Luke. Luke had them on. He's not a money whore like Harry. Oh. Anyway, oh yeah, so let me go back to the panel. Yeah, so those are resources I gave. Also, if anybody, please check out those resources as well. I shouted out the Discord, RIZIN.TV, which is now back up. Apparently, it was down for some time. And then the Twitter. Like I said, I got some subscribers to the podcast from that, so I think that's successfully done. Hopefully, people subscribe to RIZIN who are new there, or like went to our YouTube channel, subscribed as well. And then I dropped some shows that were happening. RIZIN 51, September 28th on RIZIN.TV, Deep Jewels, Deep Tokyo on September 7th through a YouTube subscription, and then RIZIN New Year's Eve show, which is no official date yet. Probably New Year's Eve, but we'll wait and see. Pride Resurrection. Yeah, I interviewed that guy a little bit, but man, that guy, I felt bad for that guy because he was that was some of the most interesting stuff. Just finding just this kind of like this, like, I don't know, what is it? Not lost footage, but the MMA stuff you would find and just commentary over it was just great. But unfortunately, just like, yeah, he could, the copyright bots, whatever, we just always get them. So that was many years ago. I think the channel is still around, but I don't think he's around anymore. But Pride Resurrection, great stuff. After this, apparently I didn't realize that I actually had 10 more minutes left of the panel, so I then just posed questions to the audience, or just asked them to ask questions to me. One of the most interesting question I was asked is, if I could take a fighter from Pride era and from RIZIN era to fight, who would it be? And I want to pose that question to everybody here. So, if you could take a fighter from Pride era and from current RIZIN era, who would you do it? Who would be the people that you would do it? So when I was asked this, I couldn't think of anybody on the spot. But Hamza, who would you have Jiri face? That will come into a little bit after. So I couldn't think of a name. I couldn't think of I was just racking my brain who. I said maybe Satoshi. I almost said Satoshi Aoki, but Aoki didn't fight in Pride. That was Dream technically. So what I wound up just saying is, you know what? I just said fuck it. You know what? Do Fedor versus Bob Sapp, because it'd be hilarious. Hamza and RIZIN will die. Both say Jiri versus Wanderlei. So I was talking with somebody after the panel, and he said he'd do Jiri versus Fedor. And I'm like, oh, that's a good match. That's much better than the one that I thought of. One of the other questions somebody also asked. Late Cavarana would Figures Fight says the late Cavarana would have fit well in RIZIN, and Satoshi Soza would have fit well in Pride. Yeah. Hamza says Jiri versus Shogun. Oh yeah. So actually, yeah. So the other question that someone asked after was, who would win 2003 Shogun? 2003 Wanderlei versus 2005 Shogun, and I said 2003 Wanderlei Silva. I think Wanderlei could take the heat then. Shogun was always a bit chinny, and I don't think he'd be able to take the missiles that Silva would throw his way. I think that Shogun would have the grappling advantage, but you have to get that down to the ground first. And I just think that Silva would have knocked him out before then. So yeah, and sorry, Hamza says Vader would KO Jiri in the first 2 minutes. Wouldn't be competitive. Listen, man, Jiri is something else, man. I want to say they would have, but Jiri always finds a way. You say 2005 Shogun. Okay. MMA says Jiri versus Wanderlei for me. Interesting. Yeah. I remember. I also I asked out the panel when I was talking to the same person. I told them if I could redo my answer, I would do Crow Cop versus Jiri. Now, RIZIN actually was trying to do that match. They tried to get that match, and Jiri was calling for that match to happen, but it just never worked out for whatever reason. That would have been a great match to have. It would have been a better match than the Crow Cop Rocky match, which was so. It's that match that Rocky was competitive, and then just get a little cut above his eyebrow, and they stopped the match. That's an interesting one, folks. Like 2005 Takanori going versus 2025 Shadulyev. That's interesting. I would probably pick Shadulyev to win that one, though. Hamza says when he fought Quinton, he didn't have good striking back then. You talk about Silva, right? I think you're talking about Wanderlei, right? Yeah. So I mean, listen, I gotta say, I love that I love the energy of the audience. They really, I hope they took away something from it. If they just were also just coming there just to rest, that's fine. And yeah, hopefully maybe one day it'll pop up one of those things where somebody actually took footage of the entire panel, and we'll find it on like the dark web or something. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. No, Rampage didn't have good striking back then. Yeah. He could powerbomb you, though. He could powerbomb you. I mean, yeah, so that was Anime NYC panel. Maybe I'll upload whatever footage I have that's like applicable, maybe as a short or something, to the channel, and then I could like hopefully get some leeching off Anime NYC tags and all that stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, as well, also everybody, please like and comment on the video as well. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. The algorithms are a strong thing on YouTube. So if you like it, you comment on it, that helps boost it a little bit. So just write anything in the comments. I don't care. Just write something a comment will help the algorithm. That's all you need to know. And liking as well. Want to just do a Q&A? Want to just do let's do like some questions and answer shit. What else? What fights is everybody looking to rise in 51? What are the fights that you're looking forward to with Rise in 51? Hamza, when you say that he got favorable matchups, what would you say were some of the favorable matches that he got? Oh, Ryzen will die. Do you think you will be invited by the convention on another major one again to present about JMA? Well, I can try for New York Comic Con next year. I would like to do that. That would be a lot harder though. I don't know why it got approved this year and not the other 2 years I applied for this panel. I don't know what I don't know if it goes into, I don't know, like I get why some things are approved or like regular things. Like I went to this panel called Roommates or something, and yeah. So yeah, it's what is Hamza? You say Yuki Kondo. Okay. That's a fair one. Minowa as well, yeah. Yuki Kondo, by the way, having his first fight at 2025 this year. I'm excited. Yeah, I hope I am. It'll be great. I'm trying to think what cons would have me though. New York Comic Con is a maybe. If there's any cons on the East Coast, I would try to do them. But there's also not like I'm trying to think of like other. I know there's other anime inspired con. The thing about Anime NYC is just not like a regular con, like a regular like anime con. They have non-anime stuff there. I could try to see if this what is it? Is it KatsuCon? Comic-Con says Kayuki Kondo. That would be hilarious. I would travel to see that match. Oh, okay, great. Then looking forward to your preview, Chris. Chris's preview for 51. Yeah, I think there's KatsuCon. I think that's on the East Coast. Oh, what's the too many games though? That's the thing. I don't know if I could get into any of the video game stuff though. Like too many games or what's the other one? Long On Retro. I can try KatsuCon. Isn't Dragon Con? Isn't that also kind of like a big one on the East Coast? Maybe it'll be easier though because since I got approved to this, so it's like, oh, okay, they let him do this here, so we can, that's kind of like the litmus test. They'll let the people they'll say yes to it maybe. Oh, Hamza says they changed rules for Rondo. I remember because Clock Rubber was the first time the LAS. That's true. Yes, that's true. But yeah, but I'll also love to present this panel again. It would be great. It would be great to try to get the podcast to a new audience who may not know about it. To get the real question I should have asked is who actually is subscribed to the podcast. I should have actually asked that. I didn't ask that. I also, the thing is that if I do this again, whether it's Anime or NYC or another convention, I'll know how to prepare better so that I get footage of the panel than this first time. And I'll have no stone unturned to make sure that I get footage, to make sure that it comes out great, to promote it great, to make sure that I have all the information and all that stuff to be prepared as a host. I'm trying to think of what else. So yeah, actually, if anybody else, I don't know, anybody want to talk about RIZIN 51, RIZIN 51, anything that's going on that people are looking forward to the card or JMMA or any other stuff that's going on. We can talk about Johnny Walker as well. We can talk about Johnny Walker getting a win. Hamza says they gave him favorable. He wanted a favorable match because they wanted to grow internationally. Wanted as a perfect guy. That's true. That's true. No, RIZIN will die. Knowing that a good bit of the audience were blown apart fans and probably watched his private. Would you devote more time to RIZIN and current JMMA instead of Pride if you were to do this again? Well, yes, but I also think I don't think there's enough. If I just did a thing on current JMMA and RIZIN, I feel like it's not that big. There's not enough. It's still RIZIN's only been around. This is their 10-year anniversary, so I don't feel like there is still enough time to talk about that. I feel like you can kind of just go into. You have to start at the beginning with how JMMA started, then to Pride, and then into RIZIN. Maybe RIZIN is still around 20 years from now, or fails 20 years from now, or fails, then actually no, if it's around for 20 years, I can then just talk about RIZIN with a little bit of a little bit of Pride in the beginning of JMMA. But I feel that RIZIN's still a young organization for MMA. Would there be anything I would say differently? Yeah, I didn't mention that this is RIZIN's 10-year anniversary. That totally went past my head. Would have also said that the Fuji TV allegations were false, and we've gotten into more detail that them losing that TV deal was kind of a weird blessing in disguise. That they've made a they were able to successfully go from terrestrial TV to pay-per-view easily. RIZIN ever do an event in Hawaii? Unless Hawaii is going to pay them, my friend Gallic Gun. If they're going to pay, if RIZIN's going to say, hey, we'll give you some money to put on a show here. Because originally they were going to do a Bellator. Bellator is going to take care of everything and all that stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, no RIZIN Hawaii event until they get, unless they partner with maybe if they partner with PFL, which is unlikely to happen, or the best chances is RIZIN if they don't have to pay, if they get a site fee or don't pay anything like that. Oh, thank you so much, Hamza. Because of you, of me, good old me, I know what's going on in RIZIN Discord chat. That's good. That's good. Focus Fight says, are you planning on doing a 10-year RIZIN retrospective? So Chris wouldn't mind me involved. Yeah, I already got Jim Ozeki on that. Supposed to be happening we have planned for to do it on 9/11. A date we are both free. King Mo versus Mark Coleman. That would have been a good match. I think I would have given King Mo I would give King Mo the win on that. Actually, now that I think about RIZIN Will Die, once the Smashing Machine comes out, I wonder if it will also help with the Smashing Machine comes out, because that'll get some talk about pride and all that. Well, we'll see how they portray it in the movie. Let's see if The Rock is going to take some artistic liberties, and it's like, oh, it's Japan is these dingy arenas and all that stuff, and it could either help or really hurt me doing this panel again sometime. RIZIN Will Die. Up your chances of inviting back. Do you think discussion of combat sports, anime, manga would be more prudent to incorporate in discussion of JMMA? Yes, I think that is important. I didn't mention that when I proposed the panel to Anime NYC this time. I just basically copy and posted, just like it being a point of Japanese history that's not talked about a lot. Hasn't been talked about at Anime NYC. But I think for KatsuCon and DragonCon, I might need to do it for that. Vochenja versus Jiri. That would be an insane match. I would give Jiri the win on that. Daniel Dizabeki. About Dream Era, still my main source of info works. Nightmare of Battle. Good old times. Gallicon. It could happen. State Athletic Commission in the U.S. would be the promotion's bane. Even so, it's going to come down to if they're being paid to come there. RIZIN Will Die. A topic in the effects of combat sports anime like Ashita no Joe and Ippo on Japan and sports could be a topic stuff. Well, I was thinking about other panels I could do for Anime NYC in the future. I was thinking of like best anime fights of all time, or best like MMA and most like something like that. I was thinking of something kind of doing something like that maybe in the future. So if you have an idea, I'm happy to hear it. So I was thinking like, yeah, something along the lines of like best anime fights of all time. And I'm not talking like crazy, come on, stuff. I'm talking like just like two brutal fights, like two people fighting, kind of like you would do in Street Fighter, something like that. I think that a 10-year retrospective should be in different parts of a lot of categories. Listen, I haven't decided how to do the 10-year thing. If it's going to be one show covering everything in 2 hours, or it's going to be like 1 hour on like best fights, best moments, best whatever. I haven't decided that. So still deciding on that, Daniel. Speaking of the Smash Machine, I hate they had the Rock. Well, here they didn't choose the Rock to play Mark Kerr. Rock chose himself to play Mark Kerr. That's because Rock's co-producing it, I think. Hamza, of course. I think I once asked you to come on, but we thought we had a miscommunication about where our time zone was. I'm happy to adjust as best I can to you coming on. And yeah, we could definitely do like RIZIN versus Pride matchups. That might be a very interesting thing. I'll have to ask King CeeLo if we can about making a chart on that or something like that, and we can like see like how we think the fight would go, kind of thing. Oh yeah, speaking of other shows as well, There will be there is the 10-year anniversary show, RIZIN 51 preview as well. That'll be near the end of September. There was also, I had something else. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, there might be a Deep Jewels preview show. Maybe. That might be done with WMMAC now. But I think that's going to be on his thing. I can't remember though. Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, we still have 10 minutes. I was gonna have for us go like an hour 30, so we can just kill 10 minutes. We could just whatever you guys want to talk about, we can talk about. Again, also like and comments before you exit out this video. Just like and comment, write anything. I don't care. Just write anything. Daniel Dizabeki says, I think 2 hours isn't enough, but we'll definitely check. I don't know. It may not be, because there's just like, I would love to, some of the most interesting stuff in RIZIN isn't just their fights. It's just also like Gabby Garcia begging for forgiveness, Flowergate. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but it's also like, I also want to talk about I also want to make sure we talk about how does RIZIN look 10 years from now, where we think RIZIN will be. I don't know if it'll be, it's going to be interesting because Sakakibara said he's supposed to retire soon, and I presume Shingo will take over. So if that's the case, how does the promotion change from Sakakibara to Shingo? Because there will be some changes. I don't know what changes, but there will be some. Let's see. Trying to think of what else. What else can we talk about? Because we got about 9 minutes left. Hamza, any more Pride versus RIZIN fights you can think of? I would say, I'm trying to think off the top of my brain right now. What about Ensign versus Jiri? What about Ensign Inoue versus Jiri? I think that'd be a cool fight. Or Ensign versus Vadim. Oh, Daniel says, I'm wondering how the promotion is different with Takada about. Do you have any power in company's operations? I don't know if he did. I'm gonna have to double check. I'll have to see if he did. He wasn't like okay. The power players for RIZIN are Sakakibara, Shingo, Shigeru Sakai from Deep, and Sasahara. I feel like Takada was kind of just like, do you know how PFL has Jonathan Coachman now and was having Ray Sefo before kind of like being the person who faces the camera? I think that's kind of what they were doing with Takada. If he had an influence, there's nothing that tells me that like, okay, that's a Takada thing. I really can't pinpoint anything. Oh, Justin Hurst. You're the one who asked about 2 matches that would make it Pride. Great argument. Oh, thank you so much. Okay. Hey, Justin, please, if you're here, how many people would you say were at the panel? If you were to do just like a guesstimate, because I've been trying to rack my brain how many people were. My camera didn't wind up getting footage of the people, but I'm so glad that you're here, Justin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hamza, unfortunately, I'm going to be ending in about 6 minutes. So, yeah, I don't think we'll be able to do that in 6 minutes. Rise will die. Do you think you should convince Shu Hirata in New York to present the convention? Oh man, I should have done that. I haven't talked to Shu in a while. I wonder about. Okay. for the next time I apply to Anime NYC, maybe like 3 or 4 years from now, I'll maybe ask Shu to come on if you can do that. Justin, about 50 people or so from my guess. Okay, I'm bad at counting people. Let's make it. Okay, so I said about 100 people before. So, okay, let's go with 50 people. Did you happen to get any video or photos or anything from the panel by any chance? Because if you did, I would ask you to please upload them anywhere so I can share them to social media. If you're able to do that. I don't think they have promoted Smash Machine outside. Oh yeah, it's not an MMA movie. It's not. This is not like going to be like, what was it, Kickboxer? Oh, no worries then, no worries. But again, Justin, I appreciate you that you asked the question about the about that. I'm so sorry I had such a dumb answer initially. But Hamza here was given some great matches. Some great what if matches. So yeah, that was a great question. I apologize. I wish I could come up with a better answer than that. Anthony was there to say no to a fight. Yeah, he wouldn't say no to Jiri. He would have absolutely have said yes to that. Let's see. Hamza says it's a remake of the original Smash movie. Well, that's a documentary though. Can a thing be official movie can't really be a remake of a documentary? I don't think it can it? By the way, that's the other thing. I'm gonna have a review. I might be able to see that movie early. So if I get to see that movie early, I will have a review of it. I'll try to see if there's anybody else who has seen it early and try to do like a co-review with them, but don't know as of now. Furat says Mr. Taka is more like a former actor than any other. As Takada was involved in talent management office in Dreamtime, so Takada is more off from the management since town office tells what to do, what you do. And okay, I see. Interesting. Okay, I have actually never seen the documentary. It is very hard to find, Gallic. Do you know where it is possible to find that? Is it maybe? Are they going to do something where they like release it like a week before, or like a month before the movie comes out? I would hope they would do something like that. Justin, another question I want to ask is that if they put DJ in RIZIN Pride, how do you think he would have gone? Well, I don't know about Pride because they didn't have flyweight at the time, so he would have been fighting up. And listen, DJ is good, but MMA open weight is different than him beating guys at IBJJF and heavyweights, open weights. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think. In RIZIN, he would have absolutely. I think he could have gone undefeated in RIZIN. And listen, a rematch of him versus Kyoji would have been a big money match because you have their fights. As it did, ended. What was it? 5th round, 4 minutes 59 seconds. You do it in Japan, rematch. Kyoji's gotten better. I still think that Kyoji loses to DJ, but I think he's more competitive. Problem is that that I don't know who he would have fought in Pride since flyweights were not a part of their roster. By the way, Justin as well. Please tell people here, since you attended the panel, what you thought in the chat. What you thought of the panel? Was there anything that was like, I don't know, anything that made you pop or that you enjoyed the most? Anything? Yeah, please, because a bunch of the people who listen to podcasts regularly weren't at the panel because they're not couldn't make it because they're not on the East Coast. So let people know what you thought of the panel. Rise will die. Jets Pulver did well. Kid Yamamoto did well. Both for flyweights. DJ would have been a contender in Pride. Again, Jets Pulver was a fine fighter, but he would listen. Like the fight with BJ Penn was like, he was lucky to have. What was it? The first fight they had, didn't that go to a split decision? I think Kid Yamamoto did well to a point. If he could just swing and bang, he could. But once you got to technical guys, that's where Kid was struggled. I don't know, man. DJ would have been a contender in at lightweight. Man, I don't know. DJ was small. Like Hamza said, DJ was small for 155. So God, he would have just. I think he would have gotten smashed by most people, unfortunately. Chachi wearing DJ Devon as he over Horizon was a massive war crime. Listen, man, Chachi. Listen, they were paying those a lot of guys to come, and DJ got more money, I think, than his entire UFC career. I think, didn't he say that? They also let him do his Twitch stuff. I think, was UFC allowing Twitch? I think they weren't, but under Chachi he could. Chachi made DJ star. Yeah, that's the thing. UFC relegated DJ to the television. So yeah, unfortunately, that's what they relegated him to, and they managed. And he fought. Listen, would it be fair to say that he fought tougher opponents in one than he did in UFC, other than Kyoji, maybe? Not counting his bantamweight run, his flyweight one, I mean. Here we have a great review from Justin for the panel. The panel was great. I liked how you went over the history of JMMA and talked about the other organizations I didn't know about, like Deep. I also like how you recommended matches. Appreciate it, Justin. Thank you so much. Thank you. Demetrius Johnson, that famous one esports athlete. Anybody have any last minute questions before we start to wrap this up? Before I do some plugs and all that. Any last burning questions? While you think of stuff, I'm just gonna pay some bills right now. And again, podcast is sponsored by eatshroombar.com. Shroom bars. Please use WAR at checkout for 25% off your first order. These great protein bars are great for pre-workout, post-workout, as well. If you use a code, you support the podcast. I get a little bit of a cut. Tells the people, hey, people are watching this and buying stuff that we're sponsored with this guy, and so I get to put into production, all that stuff, and it's a little bit of a cut that goes a long way. Hamza, best pride fighter from 1997 to 2003. 2007, you mean? Sorry. Best pride fighter. I'm gonna say Sakuraba, man. I'm gonna say fucking Sakuraba would be is still the best pride fighter. He fought up and he did tournaments, and just like his resume was of people he defeated is no one at I don't think nobody could do at his weight anymore. Everybody's just too good now, or just weight bullies now. Justin says, sure, Marcelo Garcia took his MMA career seriously. Do you think he could have been champion UFC in the mid to late 2000s? It's tough. See, the thing about him is that he's so entrenched in jiu-jitsu, it's almost like his brain kind of defaulted to jiu-jitsu. It would have been so hard to get him. Because listen, look at like Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie, I thought was going to be a major player in UFC after watching him go through people in RIZIN. And then yeah, he just gets schooled by people like Cub Swanson, Bryce Mitchell, and other people. And I think Marcelo is just too much of a jiu-jitsu guy to kind of just like unclick that in his brain. Buchecha, we saw what happened in his fights recently, his debut in UFC. And UFC was like, okay, we got this guy. He could be a heavyweight star. He's a well-known name. And yeah, he got 30-27 by Boudet. Martin Boudet, I think his name is. I think at that time, I think maybe he could have defeated a few people. What weight class also would he have fought at? Would it have been at the early 2000s? He never cut weight ever for his jiu-jitsu career. He also fought up. He'd be fighting at like 155, right? 145. Also, sorry, Hamza. I think I just remember as well. That was also a last-minute fight as well. RIZIN will die. How do you personally feel about the panel? Are you satisfied by it all? Do you think true anime fans like shoujo enjoyers will enjoy superior promotion? I don't know about shoujo enjoyers. I was happy with the panel. I was happy that 50 people turned out. I was happy with the energy the panel had. I love the questions that people had. I love that they responded positively to this slide that King Steel helped made. I hope it got more people to go on YouTube, look at fights for RIZIN or just stuff from the JMA's past, maybe some more RIZIN TV subscribers as well. Hopefully that was the main goal. Hey, I got some subscribers as well to the podcast as well. So that's as well. Justin, I don't know if you had a chance, if you subscribed, I don't know, because I got a bunch of new subscribers. Subscribe if you can as well, like and comment as well. What else was I going to say? Yeah, I think I was happy. I'm just happy that I'm not unhappy I didn't get footage of it. So that's the one thing I'm unhappy about. I'm also unhappy that I couldn't get J Wolf to be on it because I really wanted him to be on because I just didn't want to be talking about myself. And I couldn't get him on due to technical difficulties. Oh my God. Okay, Hamza. I'll say first half Sakuraba. I would say second half of Pride. Who was like, would we say Crow Cop? Could we put Crow Cop as second half as Pride? I maybe put him, or maybe wait, why not Fedor? Can we just do Fedor? As well. So what else? Before we go, also the Discord right here, RIZIN FF. Please follow us or join the Discord if you can. That'd be great if you can, because we don't talk about just RIZIN. We talk about everything MMA that's going on, UFC, Deep, KSW, Wotar, Daniel as well. So yeah, we talk about everything. It's just not RIZIN. It's not only RIZIN related, and we also talk about pro wrestling and other off topics as well. And also the Twitter is at We Are RIZIN Pod. Please like, follow, whatever it's called on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Focus Fights was in here as well. That's Jay Christian's thing. Please go to Linktree to see all the stuff that he's doing with Focus Fights, which is podcasts and interviews and all that great stuff that he has. Jay Wolf as well, who is supposed to be on the panel as well. Follow his Twitter at JYolf1, please. As he was supposed to also. I also invited him to be on this thing, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. But he'll be on for the RIZIN 51 preview. Yeah, guys, sorry, we gotta wrap this up right now. Let me just see if I'm doing anything. Oh yes, I'll give a shout out to RIZIN.TV, which is now back up, by the way. If you tried to look up before, apparently, it wasn't working before, but now it is. So subscribe to RIZIN.TV, please. I just want to say, everybody who tuned in today, thank you so much. If you are silent and not commenting but attending the panel, I thank you so much for attending the panel as well. We'll be having RIZIN 51 show coming up, a RIZIN 10-year anniversary show coming up as well, and we got some other stuff that's planned as well. So again, like and subscribe, buy Shroom Bars, and subscribe to Twitter. And thank you all who tuned in, and we'll see you for the next one. Take care. Have a great day.